Hey y'all. So here's where it all began. This is my first design, the Behemoth. And it was an important component in everything that came after it. I told this story before, but I remember looking inside of effect pedals and seeing so much stuff in them. I think I was, it must have been looking at a lot of like Boss pedals where you look in there and there's a lot of components in there, and I was just like, I can't get my head wrapped around that. Like, I'm not smart enough intelligent enough or something, to go and design something that complex. But through simple experimentation, I had this Radio Shack experimenter kit that I designed all the early stuff on, and unfortunately, ex-girlfriend refuses to give me back, but that's another story. And I started with very simple building block circuits, like single transistor amplifiers, which is what the Behemoth is. And I realized quickly that you could get a lot with very little. It's, and as I went along, it seemed like I started to realize like simpler is better in many ways. The less the signal has to go through, the more alive and dynamic the output is. And then just learning how just tweaking little parameters and little, changing components in these spots in these simple circuits could have a huge effect on the sound that came out of it. So anyway, so I just, got the basic circuit together, and I was like, it makes my bass sound bigger and clearer and everything. It makes everything better without doing much, without changing that much at the same time. And so I tweaked and was trying to find a way to keep the circuit simple, but have it go from completely clean with plenty of gain, like plenty of boost, to a distorted version of it that was still something I really liked and wanted. And I was at the time I was trying to find a bass overdrive, distortion, whatever, that was what I wanted and fit, had filled all the requirements that I wanted, really. And that, and I was, I'm a, heavy late 60s, early 70s rock kind of fan. So, the distorted bass sounds I wanted are coming from like Jack Bruce and Tim Bogert and Geezer Butler. So I wanted something that would get me in that realm, and that, like I said, have it be versatile and have it work with a variety of basses. And so I came up with the Behemoth, and I hadn't listened to this pedal in years. Probably over 10 years. When I pulled it out of a box a couple days ago, and I was kind of astonished by how good it sounded. I mean, I remember it sounding really good, obviously. Um, but it's different than the Behemoth 2. Um, they use a different the circuits are basically, the same type of circuit, but they use different transistors, and those transistors clip differently, and there's the Behemoth, I wanted it to, as it says here, if you can read it, says bass preamp. I wanted it to have plenty of clean gain, first and foremost, and then also have some growl and just, tubey type, distortion. Like I said, like very 70s bass distortion sound, and I accomplished it, which is awesome. Back here. So I thought I'd, show you guys this and tell you about it, and then have you hear it. So the controls, the input, this is literally an input control. It attenuates or increases the signal going into the input of the circuit. Gain, this is a bias control. You'll hear it like kind of makes scratchy sounds, but that's, as you know, those kind of controls are not, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just you're hearing DC scraping on the pot, and there's no tap there to do blah blah blah. And these work together to give you what you want exactly. They both work very similar. They both increase the output level of the pedal, and they both increase the amount of distortion, and kind of the type of distortion is how you can kind of work the two together. Low pass filter, this allows you to have 3 set filters. It's like a filter bank, low pass filtering. So it does what you think, but it really gives the bass like a nice, like, I don't know, there's something, it's very simple, yet it really makes a big difference and has like a really nice sound. And then you can also just turn it off so that there's no filtering whatsoever. And then we have an output control. As you can see, this is, my original concept for the graphics are basically the way they are now, with the boxes that I got the idea for my sequential circuit Pro 1 synthesizer, and then the computer font. And here you can see that the Mountain was not what it is today. A buddy of mine who helped me with the graphics did that. That was his idea. But then I, short while later, once I started getting more pedals that had like proper silkscreen graphics, because for a long while there was a handful of these that had silkscreen graphics, but then everything else just had a label maker that I used. And then once I started getting more of the other pedals, the silkscreen graphics, I kind of rethought things. First of all, as you can see, I don't use the there's no text under the knobs now. It was kind of, I thought that, I wanted to make everything very clear. And it's funny how, when you initially had this like vision and idealistic way of doing things, and then once you do them, you're like, you slowly see it a certain way. And anyway, I got rid of those. I feel like it was necessary to have them there, and it just kind of, I didn't want it to get too cluttered. But anyway, so the mountain, once, so I get, probably once the next pedal was the Megla, that I started doing proper graphics, silk screen graphics. And at that point, I decided that I wanted to have the logo be the pyramids of Giza, but in a more symmetrical, way. And then there's the lines that are underneath of the pyramid, where it's like, or pyramids where they're, or mountains, whatever you want to call them. It's both. It's I combine mountains and the pyramids together. And then the lines underneath, where like they're kind of, the bottom of it is kind of like, it's supposed to look like it's kind of lifting off the ground. That was in part a buddy of mine idea. We were going back, it was actually, I think, his wife, girlfriend, that was helping me with the graphics at the time. And it was kind of this, he's like, it'd be cool, kind of like a, like a Atari age kind of graphics. And anyways, so that's why, that's how the logo became the logo today. All right, let's take a listen to this. It's funny, that I dug this up, recently, like I did, because I've been thinking about the original Behemoth, and how I kind of, I don't know, wanted to get back to it and maybe put it out as well, and then also maybe, change the Behemoth 2 around. I don't know, like, there's something about this version of the pedal that I like and want in the second incarnation of it. But like if you have the clipping voice on the Behemoth 2 in position 1, then it's kind of very close to what this is, as far as the tone and how it distorts. But that the Behemoth 2 distorts in a little bit of a, I don't know, a warmer tubey kind of way. This is kind of, it's also kind of tube-like, but it has this extra buzz that I didn't even, I kind of forgot about, I guess, in a way. But, my ideal bass sound that I was going for at, before, right when I started trying to design something myself, was Felix Pappalardi's tone. And it's surprising how much this gets that tone when it's distorted. But the other thing about this that I was trying to get to is this pedal really, now the Behemoth 2, you can kick it on and have it set so that it doesn't do very much to your tone while doing something to your tone that's good. This, you can almost get it so that it's doing nothing but increasing the volume of your bass. It's kind of far out, but anyway, let's take a listen to it. Right now it's set so that it's the lowest gain setting. it doesn't really, kind of just makes it sound a little better. So there's a couple of ways that you can go. You can hear that scratching. Gives it like all this, gives it this nice bit of weight to it. Also distorting the circuits. And if you want to go full on, listen to more of the filter. And the intensity of the filtering is connected to how high you have the gain set. And when I say gain, I'm meaning both of these, just gain in general, not just this knob. Gets real like low dubby. It has plenty of gain if you want to like overdrive your amp. It's overdrive my amp, but my amp's a solid state, and it doesn't overdrive's kind of cool, but not the way I'd want it right now. But you can hear just like what it does to this crappy Squier bass. Just adds clarity and weight and warmth if you want it, and then grit, of course. A 2, Behemoth 2 built, I would A-B them so you can hear the difference, but you know, the main difference is the Behemoth 2 is designed more as an overdrive. I mean, you know, a lot of people use it just as a bass with the E sound for the, you know, always on kind of pedal, and have it set so it's more of a booster with like a little bit of grit to it. But the pedal is mainly designed for some amount of grit in your tone, whereas this is designed to have a ton of clean gain and just, you know, make better kind of action. I when I found this, I was like, man, I'm like, that's, you know, it's getting beat up, just getting knocked around in boxes over the years. This is actually, I believe this is from, it's hard for me to read the date because it's kind of, there's black spray paint, you know, there's black, not spray paint, black paint over, on the bottom, whatever. It's hard to read what the date is, but it looks like it's 2008, which makes sense. That'd be around a year after I started. You know, I started, probably my first pedal I sold, I think, was like 2007, and then this was what I was working on as far as the first official pedal, whereas the other things were kind of one-offs and stuff. So anyway, so yeah, I found it in the box. I was like, wow, I'm like, this is getting beat up. I'm like, maybe I'll sell this and, you know, use the money to put towards the Doman, you know, getting new boards, because I keep tweaking the circuit and spending tons and tons of money on circuit boards and throwing them away, essentially, because they're not what is going to be used, and blah, blah, blah. But then when I thought, well, rather than have this sit around and not get played and just get nicked up, I'll, you know, sell it and see if I can get, you know, somebody wants this, you know, piece of Mountain King history, and then use that money to progress other projects. But then I started playing and I'm like, I don't know if I want to get rid of this. I'm like, it's not like I play bass on any, you know, at all, really, except when I'm designing or testing stuff. But this just sounds so good. It's like hard to part with, especially also because it's like a piece of history. But, you know, I want that, you know, what you're hearing. I want somebody playing that and, you know, playing shows with it. Hopefully you can hear some of the weight that this thing really adds. You can definitely feel it when you're, you know, when I kick the song, I can feel it in my gut. Sorry, I'm just noodling around now. So yeah, I don't know if I should. I don't know if I should sell it or not. I need it. I need to sell it, really, because I'm sinking so much money into the Doman, and still not total. I mean, you know, I can start taking orders for it, I guess, because I know I'm just going to add one of those towels. Whatever, that's not what we're talking about. Anyway, like I said, I've thought about almost putting out a version like this, but maybe, I don't know, some tweaks or something. But I have so many other new releases that need to get out there first, and that's really what's, has to be, that needs to be the priority, not me holding on to, the past. I need to fund the future. So yeah, I guess the post, the description or whatever for this post will probably tell you whether I'm selling it or not. I'd love to have someone love this as much as I do, but actually use it and, drive over people with sound. Alright, y'all. Well, I'm gonna go, but thanks.